Tonight on 8 out of 10 Cats does Countdown. John Richardson, John Locke, Catherine Ryan, David Mitchell, the Brett Domino Trio, Susie Dent, and Rachel Riley. Now, welcome your host, Jimmy Carr.
Hello and welcome to 8 out of 10 Cats Does Countdown, a show all about letters, numbers and conundrums. Did you know, for example, 5 years after starting work on the Oxford English Dictionary, the editors were still on the word ant? And that was because they couldn't remember if he was the shorter one or the one with the massive forehead. The first ever text message was sent in December 1992 with the words Merry Christmas, and the reply was, who dis? And the number 007 is not only James Bond's code name, but also the dialing code for Russia. Coincidence? Yeah, coincidence. Right, let's get started. OK, let's meet tonight's players. First up, it's John Richardson. There he is. John is very organised and always keeps his knickknacks in the same place. He dresses to the left.
I do.
Good to know, OK. And John's teammate, Catherine Ryan. Catherine has a 7-year-old daughter. Of course, children are adorable, great to be around and always saying funny things. So I'll make a nice change for Catherine to be sat with John. Up against them this evening is Sean Locke.
Thank you.
Sean's been the team captain on every series of 8 out of 10 Cats Does Countdown, and he's enjoyed every single none of them. And joining Sean tonight is David Mitchell. Here's an interesting fact about David. He went to school with Radiohead. Of course, back then, they were a happy-go-lucky, upbeat funk band. But after 5 years with David, well, they developed a different style. OK, John, question for you.
You're slagging me off, and now you want to know stuff.
OK. John, what 3 things would you take with you to a desert island?
I don't know. Bear Grylls, David Attenborough, and probably just my sticker books.
Are you still collecting sticker books?
Yeah, I've always told my wife that one day they'll be worth something, so I have to take them with me to convince her that I wasn't bullshitting.
Did you do the Euro one?
Yeah, up until a point.
Was the point Iceland?
It was around there. Pinpoint it to some point on that evening when I sort of thought, you know what? Fuck stickers.
Catherine, right. It's your birthday today. I got you a little present.
You did?
Yeah, it's literally the least I thought I could get away with.
Okay. Thank you. This is my first present, and the day's nearly done.
Well, maybe you should take a long, hard look at yourself.
It's a wine glass.
Well, we'll get some wine to go with it.
Oh.
And I just wear it, and that way I can drink all the time. Oh, my gosh. Jimmy, this is so nice.
And you picked her favourite wine, white wine.
I've always got wine.
Now, Catherine, you're with John tonight. Who would be your ideal teammate? I mean, I'm not saying John Richardson's not a dream come true, but who would be the best celebrity to be teamed up with on this show?
Ooh, wine.
I think I would like Rachel Riley to be on my team, and then we could get, like, some hunk to do the letters.
I'll be free.
Yeah. We'll get some dick and balls up there.
Is that his name? Dick and Balls? Unfortunate name. He'd get bullied at school. Because whenever Ed Balls gets really depressed, he says, well, at least my first name isn't Dickon.
Or Harry. Or Itchy.
Or Cancerous.
Yeah.
I mean, this isn't a great first name, even if your surname isn't Balls.
My sister's genuinely just had a baby and named him Dick, like a 1950s spy. And it's great, because when I want to see pictures of him, I'll text my mom and be like, Mom, have you got any dick pics from me? I'll take some dick pics at lunch.
Sean, Who's your favourite Kardashian?
I don't know. It's very hard to choose, isn't it, Jimmy? They're all just so... I think tremendous is the word.
If you had to name two of them...
Yeah. Is it Barbara? Is she good? I don't really know. I know who the Chuckle Brothers are. They're our equivalent, aren't they?
And have they got... I mean, you say they're our equivalent. Have they got their own perfume?
Yeah, well, they've got their own unique scent.
They're a sisterhood. They have many businesses. They support each other. It's really easy. So Kendall, she's a supermodel. Kylie, she used to be dating Tyga, and he used to be dating Blac Chyna, but they grew up, and now Blac Chyna is marrying the Kardashian boy, Rob Kardashian. Effectively, if Kylie was back with Tyga, it would make their son both her nephew and stepson. Anyway, Khloe, she is really, really funny and works out a lot. And then Kourtney, she's a really great mom, an attachment parent. She puts up with Scott Disick. Nobody knows why. And then Kim is like the middle of the three eldest ones, and she has the most businesses and makes the most money. Kris Kardashian, that's the mother, and she was a Jenner, but then after Caitlyn Jenner split with Kris, she went back to Kardashian to complete the brand.
OK. Deb, it says here you're not a fan of novelty language, words like simples.
Yeah, I don't like people saying simples because it's from an advert, and people who say simples in their real life are helping to advertise something they've not been paid to help to advertise, which is actually taking literally food out of the mouths of actors.
To put up an interesting point, since the referendum, does that mean we have to get rid of the meerkats?
That's a very good point. Yeah, I expect there'll be some sort of ritual slaughter of them on television. We'll see. Nigel Farage will appear, naked and erect. And he'll sort those meerkats out.
OK. Now, John, have you got a mascot?
Yes, I have, Jimmy. I've been married a year now.
Oh, congratulations.
I know.
No, but think of her.
It occurred to me that I've nailed it. I'm really good at it. So I've released a book to help other people who might not be as good to be around as I am. And it's based on the old adage. My book's called How to Be John Richardson in the Parlour, John Richardson in the Kitchen, and a Whore in the Bedroom. Brackets, not really, John Richardson in the bedroom too. And it's a sort of everyday guide on just how to sort of think and behave, really. So there's a lot on hand dryers that you might find in pubs. Pros and cons of the best hand dryers are, of course, if you want to see the fat on your hand ripple. The air blade, of course, which changed it for all of us, but now they get that well in the bottom of dirty water that you don't really want to touch. There's,
Although, if you put a bay leaf in it... transforms it into a lovely consommé.
There's sort of how to walk down the street guide there, so sort of how many points you would get for standing on each crack here. You've obviously got 3 grids here, so you'd have to make sure if you stood on the first 2, you didn't stand on the third one.
Genuinely, is that what you would... walking down that street, that's what you would do?
Well, what I would do in this street, Jimmy, and I'm glad you asked... I would use this middle line here. I would just walk down that, and then I know if I can... I mean, it's quite a long stride for me, that. But if I can hit a crack each time, I know when I get to the end, I'm fairly even. At worst, there'll be a crack in or a crack out, but I'll even that way. Obviously, it comes with a few... You've got to sort of try and flood the market, haven't you, to get the sales. So I've got a year's supply of condoms, or as I call them, rubber johns. There's an extra supplement as well on how to load the dishwasher. We're still quite a long way behind as a society on that one. And that's my book.
How to Be John Richardson, everyone. Catherine, did you bring a mascot?
Yes, let me remove my trough. All right.
All right.
I'll miss you one. OK, so it's very cold in here because you're the boss, and I assume that beautiful suit is lined with endangered polar bear. And so I've been knitting, haven't I? So I'll get up on here to show you what I've made for the cold studio. OK, I made this beautiful mermaid tail blanket. So you stick your little feet in there, and then it's a lovely blanket, and see, it's like the tail of a mermaid, so you get to have fun and pretend you're like on the sea. Uh-oh, I've been caught. want to leave my good friend John in the cold, so I got his measurements, and I made one for John as well. Yeah. These two little mermaids.
Get your little hooves up. Little tiny hooves.
Cute, right?
Yeah.
And now we can be warm and...
Just coming up a little bit short.
Oh, all right.
Not be the
So
first mermaid to be done for gross indecency. Thank you.
You're welcome, John.
Look out for the rocks. It's a health and safety nightmare.
David, have you got a mascot?
I do have a mascot, yes. This is actually cost me a lot of money on eBay. And this is some of the Duchess of Cambridge, or Kate Middleton as she then was, some of her toenail clippings. And there we go. You see? There's a little toenail clipping of a very, very royal person there. What do you mean,
How do you know they're genuine?
Well, I mean, they cost me £25,000. That's just not... That can't be ordinary ones, can it? That's definitely from her. The great thing about these is, as DNA technology advances, what I have in here is her DNA code, which means that in the years to come, I will be able to make another one. But then she will have no rights in law. She'll just be my creature. So now it's just the clippings in the tin.
Sean, have you got a mascot?
Yes, Jimmy. Don't you worry, matey. I have put my wardrobe into alphabetical order, just for a bit of a giggle. Let's start with A, which is apron, and obviously not any old apron, but a hilarious apron. Here we go. That's B. That's my banger racing overalls. Look at the state of them. The joke is, I only went once, and I was watching. That's how filthy you get at the banger racing. C is my chinos for Dress Down Friday. Because everybody loves a Dress Down Friday. Even the Pope looks amazing in espadrilles. D for Dickie Bow. I actually caught this off one of the Chippendales.
Oh, yeah, it's not all you caught off one of the Chippendales.
I got England kit. Got more chance of getting into that than we ever winning a fucking tournament. F is, of course, this, which is my fuck me scarf. G, what are those? Gall-blimey trousers. H is one of my, you know those heart T-shirts? My favourite thing on earth. I heart kippers. This is my Inuit national dress. This is my full Inuit national dress. There we go. That's very cosy. J is for my jeggings. I put these on when I want guests to leave. And I just can't resist this one. It's my Kiss Me Quick hat, but it's been updated. It's I consent to be kissed quickly. But stop means stop. And I'll do one more. This is L. These are my ladder shorts. See, they're gathered there for when I go up a ladder, and nobody can look up my shorts. Because that part of my body is just lovely. I've caught people, I've been up a ladder, I've caught people just staring up. Like, they stare at my Biffin's Bridge like it's Stonehenge or something. They just...
More of that later on, Sean.
Thank you.
That's fabulous. And over in Dictionary Corner, we have the Brett Domino Trio. They're called the Brett Domino Trio, despite there only being two of them. If you were hoping for a threesome, only to be disappointed, welcome to my world. So, could you tell us a little bit about yourselves?
Well, we are a musical act, as you've just said. My name's Brett. This is my friend and colleague, Stephen Peavis. Do you want to introduce yourself?
I'm Stephen Peavis.
What more do you want to know?
I'm not entirely sure who or what you are.
I just told you, but Brett Domino Trio. What's he?
We'll do a rap. We'll do that rap that we. We'll do a rap for you.
I play the keyboard, he plays percussion. I can do this without even looking. Yes, we're called the trio, but there's only two of us. But at the end of the day, that's just semantics, so get over it, you losers. Not just at you, that was. That's to all the haters.
And with the Brett Domino Trio, it is, of course, Susie Dent. Susie's written 13 books, so there's something for everyone. It doesn't matter if you want to fix a wonky table, prop open a window, or light a barbecue. Susie's got the perfect book for you. Susie, it's the 400th anniversary of Shakespeare's death. Any interesting words or phrases we could thank him for?
Well, he was a bit of a master of sass, Shakespeare, so he was good at insults, which is quite useful where you're concerned. So I could call you a 3-inch fool, actually maybe a 2-inch fool if it's you. I don't quite know what he was referring to, but yeah, I think I do know what he was referring to. And I don't know, David would have loads of brilliant Shakespearean insults. Can you give me some for Jimmy?
Well, he invented the expression "fuck off." Stick this up your arse, you shitter.
That's from the Taming of the Shrew.
Love's Labour's Lost. No. And then there was.
OK. And in charge of the numbers, it's Rachel Riley. Rachel recently tweeted, "There are more lion statues in the world than lions in the wild, and that's scary." But Rachel's determined to do something about it and has recently become the face of a campaign dedicated to smashing up lion statues. OK, the prize the teams will be competing for tonight is this, the Countdown Stair Lift. OK, let's count down, everyone. Time for our first game. Sean and David, you get the first pick of the letters.
Vowel, please, Rachel.
Thank you, Sean. O.
Vowel, please.
A.
Consonant, please.
M.
Vowel, please.
I.
Consonant, please.
H.
Consonant, please.
P.
Consonant, please.
T.
Vowel, please.
E.
And a consonant.
And S.
And for the first time today, here's the countdown clock. Catherine, how many?
6.
John, how many?
7.
Sean?
5.
David?
5.
David, what's your 5?
I'm going to get it out there. It's not the one I'm going to... but it's there. Shite. It's there. We should acknowledge it. But the answer I'm going to give is maths is the answer I'd like to give, because that's more respectable.
What'd you go for, Sean?
I've gone for tapes. Do you remember them?
OK, Catherine, what's your 6?
Thomps, like thomp.
Thomps.
Yeah.
Like
Thomps.
Is thomps...
Yep.
Is that... Well, Catherine, I'm not really asking you.
Not there, Catherine.
That's all right, because John's got 7.
John, what's your 7?
Atomise.
Whoa.
Whoa. Atomise. Huge.
Yeah, that's what I say when I really want to look at something. Go atomise.
7 points to John. Fantastic. Susie and the Brett Domino Trio, could they have done any better?
Could have gone one better than that and got a number 8, as Susie's written down here. Do you want to...
Opsimath.
Opsimath.
Opsimath. Someone who studies later in life.
OK, so at the end of that, John and Catherine are in the lead with 7 points.
Good job, John. Cheers, mate.
OK, on to our first numbers round. John and Catherine, your turn to pick the numbers.
We'd like one big one and 5 small ones, please,
One
Rachel.
big one and 5 little ones. OK, and they are 9, 5, 2, 9, 6 and 100. Target, 277.
OK, and your time starts now.
That's not going to work.
So the target was 277. John, did you get it?
No, I thought I did, but I got 278.
Catherine, did you get it?
I'm 276.
Did you get it, Sean?
I got 276.
David?
276.
Let's go with Sean. Let's hear yours.
5 minus 2 is 3. Times 100 is 300.
300.
9 plus 9 plus 6 is 24. Take it away.
1 away. 276.
Catherine, did you do it the same way, Sean?
Yeah.
OK. Rachel Riley off of maths.
Yep.
Can that maths be done?
Yeah, you could have said 6 divided by 2 is 3.
Yep.
And then times 100 for the 300 and take away the 9, and the 5.
OK, so Sean and David have 7. John and Catherine have 14. Time now to go across to Dictionary Corner, the Brett Domino Trio. What have you got for us?
I've been writing some love songs, and I thought I'll bring one along with me today and try and put as many 9-letter words in to the lyrics as I could. Not. Excuse me.
Steve, are you all right with this?
I'm having a good time. I'm having a really good time, yeah.
So we're looking at about... I think what I've done, Jimmy, is...
Deleted it.
Yes. I found it. I've not deleted it after all. Let's... here we go then. This is a song. See if you can spot all the 9-letter words within. They'll flash up on screen, so you will. Girl, you're so beautiful. You're like a sumptuous, succulent kiwi fruit. And yet I know that is one of my more ludicrous analogies, but I'm just one of those mavericks that jettisons formality. Girl, you're the toastiest. Yeah, you're so hot, you're flammable. Watch out for arsonists. I got my flame retardant underwear on under this. You're radiating so much sexuality, it's almost cancerous. If I was an astronaut, I'd fly my ballistic spaceship to your heart, into a pulmonary ventricle. If I was a carjacker, I'd break into a limousine. I could be your chauffeur, baby, you could be my passenger. Exemplify. Dexterity. Gigahertz. Schnitzel. They're all the ones I couldn't get into the lyrics, but thought it was a shame to waste them, so stuck them out there.
The Brett Domino Trio, everyone. And here is your teaser. The words are chest rub. The clue is loves handling flesh. That's chest rub, loves handling flesh. See you after the break. Welcome back. The answer to the teaser, the words were chest rub. The clue was loves handling flesh. It was, of course, butchers. So John and Catherine are in the lead. OK, they've been playing in teams so far, but this game is just for John and David. So, David, your turn to choose the letters.
Oh, God. Right. Haven't got a chance against John, by the way.
Oh, don't come the koi carp with
That's
me.
what I'm sorry, I've already come the koi carp. Consonant, please.
Oh, it's not as easy as it looks, is it?
Funny, people usually drop their H's.
You sure that's not a W?
Yeah, that is a W, isn't it?
There we go, that'll do. Which one would you like? Or an E?
Suddenly, this game seems very corrupt. Consonant, please.
T.
Vowel, please.
A.
Vowel, please.
U.
Yeah. Vowel, please.
I.
And the rest vowels. No. Consonant, please.
C.
Consonant, please.
G.
Consonant, please.
R.
Vowel, please.
And the last one. E.
And your time starts now. John, how many?
6.
David?
12. 5. Only 5. That's
OK.
less than 6.
But it might be a correct word, and John's might be made-up nonsense, so who knows?
I'm going with great. As in the thing you, well, either form of great, actually. It's fine. I was going for great expectations. It's an amusing term if you're selling fire surrounds.
John, what was your 6?
Waiter.
6 points to John. Susie. Susie and the Brett Domino trio, could they have done any better?
Could have had the word guitar. Could have had the word earwig.
What about Steve? How did he do?
Steve, did you get anything?
I lost my pen, so I didn't...
You could have had cigarette the American way, but then I disallowed myself because we're not allowed American spells. But, you know, I was playing with myself, but no, I...
And then you had a cigarette after, did you?
Yeah.
OK, so at the end of that, Sean and David have 7, John and Catherine have 20. Right, now time for Catherine and Sean to go head-to-head. Catherine, your turn to choose the numbers.
2 big, please, and the rest small.
Sean's favourite. Sean's usual. 2 large, 4 little. And as well, you got 4, 2, 3, 6.
Oh, he'll be loving that.
And the big one, 75 and 25. And the target, 387.
OK, and your time starts now. So the target was 387. Sean, did you get it?
385.
Catherine, did you get it?
No. 12? Wait a minute. Yes, I did. I really did.
Yeah, but after the buzzer, though.
Or it might be 388.
Well, let's hear it and see how you did.
Okay. 75 times 6 is 450. 2 times 25 is 50. 450 minus 50 is 400. 4 times 3 is 12. And then if you subtract that away from 400, it's 380. Maybe I thought it was 7, it's 388.
Should we talk about amphetamines? It's not the Kardashians' family history. You've got to slow down.
I'm just trying to get the maths over quickly.
Well, Catherine, you didn't declare the right number, so Sean, how did you get 385?
What I'd done was took a 2 and a 3 and I made a 5. You know that number? Then I went, oh, what can I join that up with? So I thought, what about the 75? Let's see what happens then when you put those two together and put like a cross.
That one?
Yeah. And then I added the 4 and the 6. I know the tension's palpable, isn't it?
Well done, 385.
7 points to Sean. 2 points away. Rachel, how did you do it?
If you say 4 minus 3 is 1, add to 25, that's the 2, for 26, and then 2 times 6 is 12. Times them together for 312 and add 75.
OK, so Sean and David have 14, John and Catherine have 20. Time now to go across to Dictionary Corner, the Brett Domino Trio. What have you got for us?
Well, me and Stephen here, on my right, have been talking about the name of the show, 8 out of 10 Cats Does Countdown, and we've come to the conclusion that it's a bit of a mouthful. So we've taken it upon ourselves to acronymise the title to EOOTCDC. 'Cause it's a snappier title, slips off the tongue. EOOTCDC, what's on telly? EOOTCDC.
That's easy.
That sounds like something I'd like to watch. So we've written a new theme tune for you. I'm going to stand up to perform it on this. We'll put the lyrics on screen so you can sing along if you fancy. To make as many words as you can in 30 seconds. Do you possess the power to do quick adding, subtracting and times tables? The clock don't wait for no man, so you know what you gotta do. Gotta think like a mathematician and someone who's good at words too. CDC.
The Brett Domino Trio, everyone. And here is your teaser. The words are anus mist. The clue is could get you wet. That's anus mist, could get you wet. See you after the break. Welcome back. The answer to the teaser, the words were anus mist. The clue was could get you wet. It was, of course, tsunamis. Sean, before we get on with the show, show me a little bit more of your A to Z of your wardrobe.
Do you want to see some more? Yeah! Great! So, we finished on L, which was my ladder shorts, which was a lot of fun. What's after L?
They really had to think.
It's M. So what do I have as an M? I've got my Merkin. I just went to Brian May's barbershop floor. That's M. What comes after M? Very good. Picking up. Getting into the mood. Is my nightie. I prefer this to pyjamas because they're more flammable. O is my old Etonian tie. Yes, we get everywhere. I'm actually quite a posh. No, I've made a few quid, so I thought I'd go. What comes after O? Oh, don't lose exterior enthusiasm. P is my pub shoes.
Oh, no.
Yeah, look at those lovely pair of pub shoes. Nice and wrapped. In the pub, spilling beer on them. They're perfect for any pub night. OP. Q is my world famous, I love these, quiet shirt. It's it's the opposite to a loud shirt. You know, you wear it for a visit to the doctor.
You're looking for a buyer.
Yeah, well, I didn't realise. We didn't realise. We should have met up and sorted this one out. Oh, it's my roadkill slippers. As you can see, there's a bit of pheasant in there, squirrel, bit of rabbit. And they make your feet, if they're smelly, they make them smell gamey. S, of course, is espadrilles. T is a tank top. Because if ever John does invite me into his gang... U is underpants, or as I prefer to call them, the home of the Whopper. These underpants might wear thin, but that joke never will. V is V-neck jumper, in case I'm ever invited on Question of Sport. W, of course, is my onesie. There we go. X, tricky one you're probably thinking, but not for me, Exhibit A. Oh. Y is... it's a difficult one. Imagine a very difficult one. But I've solved it with these, which is... why did I buy these? And Z, of course, is my Zucchero T-shirt. Senza Madonna.
Sean Lock's wardrobe, everyone. OK, on with the game. Sean and David, your turn to choose the letters.
Oh. OK.
I'm going to use 2 pens.
First.
Vowel, please.
O.
Consonant, please.
S.
Vowel, please.
E.
Consonant, please.
L.
You take over, David.
Oh, consonant, please.
Be fun. S.
Vowel, please.
I.
Consonant, please.
N.
Consonant, please.
T.
They haven't got enough vowels.
I see what you're implying. Vowel, please.
Startle. A.
OK, and your time starts now. Catherine, how many letters?
7.
7. John?
Let's all simmer down.
No.
Well,
Have you?
if it's not there, then it's the dictionary's fault.
And what have you got?
I'll stab at a 9.
Come on. David?
6.
Sean, how many?
7.
Ooh.
David, let's have your 6.
Steals.
Catherine, your 7.
Tinsels.
Is tinsels in the dictionary?
No, the dictionary is very cool and it says mass noun.
So tinsel's not allowed?
Very
Sean,
sad.
what's your 7?
Entails.
OK.
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, drum roll, please. John Richardson, 9-letter word. You've raised everyone's hopes and dreams.
Well, it should be a word. You know, someone who's gone to, like, public school, you would say they're a bit slony. Could you be the sloniest?
Well, I think you probably can be the sloniest, but it's got a capital S.
Well, it was 9 letters, but a capital, so it doesn't count. So 7 points to Sean. OK, could they have done any better?
No. Oh, well, yeah, they could have got a couple of 8s. Isolate. Or sea lions. Could have got sea lions.
OK, so at the end of that, John and Catherine have 20. Sean and David are in the lead with 21.
Tension's bearable, isn't it?
OK, time to go across to Victory Corner one last time. The Brett Domino Trio, what have you got for us?
Well, Jimmy, while you've been getting on with the show, I've been doing a bit of sampling on this sampler that I brought along. Managed to capture this lovely moment. We should try and make a bit of a song out of it if you...
See what you think.
See what you think. Quite a bit more disturbing than I thought it might when I started. Quite disturbing, wasn't it?
I think especially for me, yeah.
For you, I think.
Yeah. The Brett Domino Trio, everyone. And here's your final teaser. The words are grind mum. The clue is requires both hands. That's grind mum requires both hands. See you after the break. Welcome back. The answer to the teaser words were grind mum. The clue was requires both hands. It was, of course, drumming. OK, time for our final letters game. John and Catherine, your turn to choose the letters.
Thank you, Jimmy. Consonant, please, Rachel.
Thanks, John. N.
And a vowel, please.
U.
And a consonant, please.
Y.
And a vowel, please.
I.
And a consonant, please.
S.
And another consonant, please.
R.
And a vowel, please.
O.
And another... This is actually a Japanese word, as is. And a consonant, please.
D.
New Year's Rod. And let's end it off with a vowel, see if we can get New Year's rods.
E.
New Year's Road. Go down the old New Year's Road.
OK, and your 30-second starts now. Right.
What have you got? My little foot.
Oh, that's so cute for it.
6, I've got.
6.
Yep.
I've got 6 as well.
6.
I've also got 6.
Oh, everyone's got 6.
All right.
Hang on. Oh. Pretty good. John, what's your 6?
Sundry. Sundry items.
Oh, must get some sundries. Catherine? I would invite you in, but no girls allowed. What have you got, Catherine?
Ruined.
Sean, what have you got?
Undoes.
David?
Diners. The plural of the American form of informal restaurant.
Yeah. If it's a nice diner, then we call it a dinery, which you also could have had.
Oh, dinery. Oh, I've never heard of that.
Posh diner. No, it doesn't exist. You could have given that fork to a small boy or girl.
I did. It landed on him. OK, so, Susie, could they have done any better?
Resound is 7.
Resound.
Yeah. Resounds good.
Steve?
It's a resounding yes from me.
OK, so John and Catherine have 26, Sean and David have 27. Neck and neck. Yeah, oh, yeah. Fingers on buzzers. It's time for today's crucial countdown conundrum. The time
Yeah.
starts now.
No, sorry. Keep going.
Let's restart the clock.
A clap tires.
Clap tyres. Well, let's see if it's right.
Damn it!
That's quite a difficult word. People never use the word particles, ever. So why would we know that?
You know you won.
In fairness, they need the stair lift more than we do, so...
So then we got the conundrum. So the final scores are John and Catherine have 26, but tonight's winners with 27, Sean and David. Congratulations, you're now the proud owner of this, the Countdown Stair Lift. Thanks to all our panellists, our wonderful studio audience, and to all of you for watching at home. That's it from us. Good night. Do you want to have a go in the stair lift?